I heard that powerful freestyle you put out, and I was hanging on every word. What was the main message that you wanted to deliver there through your lyrics?
You know, as black men and as a black community, we're hurting. You know, we really grown. We are truly fatigued and just tired of seeing, unarmed black men and black women being killed for absolutely no reason. While mass murderers go have a fast food meal by the police, and I just felt like I wanted to be truthful, be honest, come from the heart. It's a very painful process, and this is one of those times in life when you can't be neutral. You have to choose a side, and I decided that I have to choose my people and be on the right side of history and step up and not just do the Hollywood two-step and kind of sit back and let it unfold. I had to speak up for my people, and this was the time. It just had to happen. And I'm just glad to see so many people of so many different ethnicities and religions and walks of life, all banding together and so that they can be on the right side of history. It's such a beautiful thing to see that because so many times before people were uncomfortable speaking up, afraid to speak up for various reasons. So now that we've had this, that George Floyd's murder was like a catalyst for greater change, and I'm glad to see that his death won't be in vain.
I always appreciate you, bro, coming on the show. Thank you so much. And just for those who don't know, when you talk about mass murderers getting taken to fast foods, I assume you're talking about Dylan Roof, who went into a South Carolina church and murdered 9 people. And then when the cops arrested him, took him to Burger King, if I remember correctly, before taking him to jail, for those that may have missed that. With that being said, now that we are here, you have always been several steps ahead of the curve throughout your illustrious career as a rap artist and actor and beyond. You've always been ahead of the curve. So as you see this movement, because I don't consider it like a moment, I consider it a time, meaning our time. It's more than a moment at this particular moment in time. When you see what's transpiring, when we talk about moving forward, what exactly should we be after in your estimation?
I think that we have to, that's a very interesting question. I think the main thing we have to be after is we have to really take a hard look at all of this legislation that is wrongfully putting our people away for the same crimes that, their white counterparts kind of get a slap on the wrist for. I think we have to, as a people, we have to vote. We have to get out here and vote. We can't just sit around and just, act like, voting doesn't matter. Get out there and vote. If you don't think it matters, vote in case it does matter. All right. But I think that that's important. So the two things that I think are important is just really leveling the playing field when it comes to legislation across the board in terms of how policing takes place in the community. And then on top of that, we have to get out there and vote and let our voices be heard, fill out the census, make sure that people really know that we exist and that we're engaged in our country. We have to be engaged. People have proven that we care. We've proven that we're about it. We've proven we got people down on the front lines. We got different people doing different things when it comes to how they're participating in this movement. But I think looking at legislation, looking at local elections, all of those things are very important as well.
I think I love that response from you, and going as far as vote and government and legislature. I know from the success that you've had in your career, doing so much and being indoors. In the black community, we talk so much about, man, we got to get in the doors we can't get into in order to influence change and see things from a different perspective. You being one of the guys, one of the icons in the black community that have had an opportunity to be behind those doors where we don't usually get a chance. How do you infiltrate and make change on a personal level in those areas where they're not allowing a lot of us to maneuver and have success and be a part of the actual decision-making process, as opposed to just going out and being one of the people that they show publicly?
Well, I think, in a lot of ways, it starts by just being a stand-up guy, right? Whether I'm working with white, black, or, any other ethnicity, if I tell you I'm gonna do something, I do it. If I give you my word, I keep my word. Like with this Rock the Bells platform, this modern media platform, it is a black-owned platform. But because I'm a guy that delivers on his word, and because I'm a guy that people know is going to do what he says he's going to do, and it's not just words but actions, you'll have, Glenn Hutchins of North Island Investments, one of the owners of the Celtics, investing, and you'll have, Mark Cuban from Radical Investments investing, and you'll have Henry Louis Gates, the Harvard professor, investing. And then I'm able to turn around and take this modern media platform that is designed for classic hip hop and give ownership to Run DMC, give ownership to Fab Five Freddy, give ownership to Salt and Pepper, give ownership to Big Daddy Kane, give ownership to Roxanne Shante, give ownership to Jonathan Mannion, the photographer who moved the culture forward, give ownership to Ernie Panicoli, another photographer who moved the culture forward, Risk, the graffiti artist, give ownership to Crazy Legs, one of the breakers who really is like the GOAT of breaking and B-boys. And that's what it's about. So what you got to do is you got to step up and deliver on the things that you say you're going to deliver. When people invest, and mind you, these people invested in this platform, but I am the majority owner, and it truly is a black-owned business. So when people go to rockthebells.com and they buy something, even though we may sometimes act as a middleman between us and other partners, the difference is that part of that money, when you spend that money at rockthebells.com, it's staying in the black community. Some of that money is staying in our community. And then on top of that, in addition to that, I'm lifting up these artists. Why can't a Big Daddy Kane or a Rakim get the same type of celebration that a Bob Dylan gets or a Bono gets? I'm making sure that these guys get respected and treated the right way, and these women get treated the right way. And I think that that's important. We have to lift up our own. We have to determine what the narrative is.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times it's like 300-400 years from now, what we do matters. History is written by the winners. So we got to win and write our own narrative and not expect other people to always do it.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.